Let's go.
So just before I go into the 1 month review, I thought I'd just give you guys a little insight into what I'm thinking about in terms of investment in technology. Yes, a new computer's on the way, a new silicon chip, performance gains, a whole bunch of I/O ports, everything. I'm here to talk about why you should probably get an M1 over the M1X. In most cases, you should get the latest and greatest machine. But honestly, a computer these days does mostly everything we need. The M1, in my opinion, is something that covers all bases. It's got great battery life, performance, the screen looks really awesome with the P3 wide gamut display. There's SSD swap, so if you get the base model, everything just works flawlessly. And it's really cheap for a premium computer. So you could save yourself possibly $1,000 on the new M1X by just getting an M1 MacBook. Now, I understand that performance is something that you might look at and think, well, the new M1X is possibly having 8 performance cores compared to the M1's 4 and all these speculations and things like that. But I would say you're not going to really go wrong getting a cheap M1 MacBook Air or Pro just before the M1X comes out. The speculations are the M1X is going to come in around $1,800 US approximately for a 16 gigabyte 512 SSD base model configuration, which is pretty cool to know that that's the base. However, you've got to ask yourself the question, what do you use the computer for? If you're a professional video editor, do you use this computer or do you have a PC that you could spend $1,000 on and get a massive return on investment compared to a laptop? I believe that most people edit within a defined work area for the majority of their intensive work process. If you're editing 8 to 9 to 10 hours a day, you're probably doing it in a similar location every time. I don't think you're doing it in cafes and everything, especially with lockdown and COVID and all that. I think laptops have sort of lost their appeal for a portable workstation. People are more confined to their surroundings, especially in Melbourne. There's a lot of lockdown rules and things like that, and throughout the world, no doubt. I hope you guys are doing well and keeping your mind and body active. The idea of having a super fast portable workstation isn't selling it to me anymore. I think that honestly, the best way to do it is to get yourself a laptop that's really, really reliable, has power, has good battery life so you're not always having to plug it in, and just something that performs to a really good level. You don't always need the latest and greatest laptop, and I think the M1X is kind of like the iPhone 12 or even iPhone 11, iPhone 12 and 13. I mean, realistically, the iPhone X or XR and all these kind of phones and things are really just more than enough to make calls, send emails, browse the internet, do everything that you need a smartphone to do, wake you up in the morning. The M1X is going to be that kind of premium, the latest MacBook that we made coming out yet. Now, look, if you're like a full-on professional, you know that you probably want to just get this laptop and there's no reason why you wouldn't hold back. And I agree, like the extra performance gains is going to be amazing. But the M1 was such a big leap that I feel that the price point in which it is at, which is about what, $1,000 US for the MacBook Air base configuration, is something that you should consider. So you could probably buy a MacBook Air base model for $1,000 and spend $1,000 on a PC build, which will give you a machine that will definitely outperform an M1X. And also give you a good return on investment. I don't want to promote buying new things all the time. I think that the reason why I even started making videos on the M1 is because I was so blown away by the performance of the Air and then just upgraded to get the features on the Pro. Realistically, the Air would have been fine. Obviously, we talked about the thermal throttling and the fan and a couple of other extra features, but realistically, the M1 is still an amazing product to get. So I do recommend, if you're out there and you're thinking, oh, let's just wait for the M1X, think about what you use it for. And if you do get the base model, you can always slap a case on it and you couldn't resell it. I would think about that because you might lose a couple of $100 on the resale, but you might use the computer for 6 months and then later on decide to get the M1X, depending on your workflow. So it's the 12th of October in 2021, and this is just an update on what I think is the most appropriate response to the M1X coming out. And do you wait for it? Yes, if you're someone who wants and needs cutting edge technology and needs the extra performance boost because you're always on the go. But in most cases, I think since we've got lockdown, COVID, we can't really move around our workstation as much. The most value for money, in my opinion, would be getting a PC and getting a MacBook Air M1 for all of your day-to-day use case scenarios. Now, obviously the IO ports is going to be very handy, but a dongle these days costs you about $50 and you can use that to connect your HDMI, USB-A, and all the other ports, Ethernet and all those kind of things. So it's just a little food for thought. I would not necessarily jump into the M1X if you think that it's just something that you need to get because it's coming out soon. The M1 is still a very capable machine, and once you buy a brand new M1, you've got that warranty from Apple. You also have a brand new computer, and I'm sure the marketplace is going to start to have M1s for sale soon, used. And if yours is in really pristine and good condition, yours will sell much easier. So just an idea. Definitely appreciate all the comments and all the interactions on the channel. Don't really appreciate the bird singing at the moment. Usually I do. I love wildlife. As you can see on the channel, I've got a lot of drone shots and a lot of beautiful different sceneries. I like to do that. So if you're interested in those kind of videos, I might be releasing those. But for the moment, it's a lot of tech stuff at the moment. And it's really picked the channel up a lot. So I do appreciate it. And I appreciate your comments and discussion. It's kind of fun, you know, to jump in there and talk about all these little technicalities and opinions and everything. So I really enjoy it, and I hope you're enjoying these videos. So if you are, you know what to do. Say what's up, give us a like, comment, subscribe to the channel. Thanks for checking in. I appreciate it. I'll see you in the next video. Be your best self and have a good one.